Look at these beautiful paintings. What if I told you one of them was generated entirely by a machine? Could you tell which one? How about these people? Can you guess which person doesn't actually exist? And what about this song?
Oh, it's a golden hour kind of state of mind, leaving all the heavy weather far behind. Your laughter a prism, turning white to gold. That is story, little town, staying right here.
Was that a human voice or a computer algorithm? I'm Tennille Hostetler, a science educator and instructional designer with George Fox Digital, here at George Fox University. With over 25 years of experience as a science educator, I'm used to teaching people how to distinguish between real science and pseudoscience, and how to tell the difference between credible and non-credible sources. But in this new age of AI-generated media, it's getting harder to distinguish between what is real and what is fake. If you're just getting started with AI, you may be reluctant to use it to produce images, music, or video because you've seen some really bad examples or poorly generated outputs. Or you've seen people use AI images or videos in questionable ways to deceive, cause divisions, or plagiarize. These are concerning things that we should definitely be aware of. And we'll talk more about this at the end of the video. But first, let's explore the history of how we got here. How AI can produce realistic outputs such as paintings, songs, and video. And then we'll look at a few simple demonstrations that will help you get started on your own creation. Let's take a look at one of the first images created by AI. It was created by Aaron, the earliest artificial intelligence program for art making, developed in the late 1960s by London-based painter Harold Cohen at the University of California, San Diego. The program was named after the biblical figure Aaron, who was appointed by God as the speaker for his brother Moses. Cohen used this allusion to signify how he viewed the program as a collaboration between humans and artificial intelligence. In this image, you can see him coloring in the forms produced by Aaron's robotic arms. The first modern AI image was created by researcher Ian Goodfellow and his team in 2014. This new approach involved two computer networks essentially competing against each other. It was called generative adversarial networks, in which one network, the generator, tried to create counterfeit realistic images, and the other, the discriminator, tried to detect if the images were fake by comparing them to real photographs. Starting with just fuzzy static, the generator eventually learns how to produce increasingly realistic images until the discriminator can no longer detect whether the image is real or fake. To raise awareness about how realistic AI-generated images had become, software engineer Philip Wang created the website thispersondoesnotexist.com in 2019. You can go to the website today and it will show you a new, realistic, but completely fake human face each time you refresh the page. Today, producing AI-generated images doesn't require knowledge of computer coding or specialized hardware. We have access to user-friendly image generators for free online. 3 of the most common are ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot. And there are many others as well. Many of these models can also create audio and video. So while Harold Cohen was teaching a computer to paint in the 1960s, researchers at Bell Labs were teaching a computer to sing.
Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you.
This paved the way toward the use of modern digital formats in music distribution. For decades, computer-generated music involved complex computer programming. But today, generative AI models use deep learning to understand the structure of the music itself. Now, they can generate realistic vocals and instrumentation in a matter of seconds. AI music has become so realistic that millions of people were fooled into thinking the song Walk My Walk by AI country band Breaking Rest was sung by a real person.
And you can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't selling my soul for a seat at your table. I'm rough I'm wild, I'm able, you can hate my fire, but you can't kill my spark. I'm a midnight flame burning through the dark, so kick them.
While the song climbed the Billboard charts, people on social media speculated about who the famous singer was behind the track. Video generation is the newest frontier of AI. The first widely recognized AI-generated video is attributed to John Warlick using NVIDIA's GoGAN AI tool in 2019. This AI tool uses a deep learning model that has studied millions of real photos to understand how natural features should look and interact with each other. Breakthroughs such as the diffusion model, which uses deep learning to understand physics, lighting, and how objects move through three-dimensional space over time, allows tools to create incredibly realistic, fluid, high-definition videos from just a simple text prompt. And that's exactly what we'll use today for our demonstration, a very simple text prompt. As an earth science teacher, I'm interested in creating educational materials for my students. But as you watch the demonstrations, think about what you could create that would be useful for your work, school, or personal life. So first, log into the AI model of your choice. Today, I'm using Gemini. Just put in your prompt and simply wait for the image to appear. Create an educational image that explains the process of how a volcanic island chain is formed over a hotspot. Now let's try the same prompt in ChatGPT to see the difference. Create an educational image that explains the process of how a volcanic island chain is formed over a hotspot. In this case, I think ChatGPT's version is more realistic and it looks more accurate. So keep in mind that different models are better at some tasks than others, and it might be helpful to try more than one. So I've got a great visual I could use, although there are a lot of technical terms that are associated with this process. So I think my students will be able to remember this better if they could learn a song about it. So let's create a short, catchy tune that my students can remember. I'll go back to Gemini to create this one. Create a short, catchy tune that my students can use to remember the process of how a volcanic island chain is formed over a hotspot.
Ooh. Deep down below the ocean floor, the mantle plume begins to soar. A fiery seam, a rising force, igniting on a molten course.
All right, finally, we'll bring this process to life with motion because a static image can't really capture such a dynamic process. I'm going to create a video now. Create a video showing the process of how a volcanic island chain is formed over a hotspot.
A hotspot under the crust feeds a volcano. Magma rises and erupts. The plate moves, carrying the island away. Volcano goes dormant.
As you can see, the possibilities of what you can create with AI are almost limitless. But did you notice that there are several spelling errors in the infographic, like volcanic chads instead of volcanic chains? And in the video, the dormant volcano disappears and the plate is moving in two different directions. So that brings us back to the question, how do we use AI responsibly and ethically? It continues to be our job as humans to discern what is true and to set boundaries on what is deemed ethical, moral, and right. And our personal use of AI should reflect that responsibility. Especially for the Christian community, we are called to pursue what makes for peace and mutual upbuilding. Just as the Apostle Paul writes in Romans 14:19, "Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and mutual edification." That includes making sure we are using AI in a way that will promote truth instead of creating confusion and spreading misconceptions. So, as we explore creating more than just words with AI, let's keep asking ourselves, does this image promote truth or does it spread lies? Does this video increase joy or peace, or is it causing divisions? Is this AI-generated song consistent with loving and respecting other people? Or are we using it in a way that's deceiving or harming others? Keeping that in mind, I encourage you to think of something you can prompt AI to create today that would be useful in your work, school, or personal life. And consider how you can use it in a way that's wise and maintains your autonomy and integrity as a human being.